WLOR, Life on the radio. For talk and music, it's the way to go. Love, inspiration, family, and entertainment are all you need. Tune in for diversity, from rock to gospel to country. For entertainment that never ends, visit WLOR.net.
Hello everyone and welcome to Indie Music Corner, your first stop for great independent music from all over the globe. I'm Sherri, your host.
And I'm Sheldon Snow, your co-host.
We here at Indie Music Corner want to give you all an outlet to shine and be heard.
If you'd like to book some time with us on this show, please write to WLOR@mail.com. Once again, that's WLOR@mail.com. And of course, please send us an MP3 of your music so that we can review it before you go on.
And you can also meet us on our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/Indie Music Corner, all in caps. And if you'd like to ask our guests a few questions later on in the show, you may give us a call at 508-717-8758. In the meantime, we do hope you enjoy the show. How you doing tonight, Sheldon?
I'm good. I had a little bit of a headwind coming over from Studio C, so I'm going to let you take over the first hour of the show. Oh, wait a minute. It only is an hour, isn't it?
Yes, sir. It sure is. So how bad are you winded?
Oh,
Snow Jams was pretty good tonight. Great show.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
appreciate
very,
that.
very
Thank
good. And we have some more great shows coming on after this one, but we'll wait to the end of the show to announce those. In the meantime, we have a really special guest in store for y'all tonight. It's Terry Quinn. He was born in Natchez. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Mississippi. Quinn grew up in a town that was home to many noted guitar players through the years. By the time he was 10 years of age, he was ripping the guitar up in his own band, playing anywhere he could, with influences like Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Page, Jeff Beck, and Eric Clapton, to name a few. Quinn became one of the most sought-after guitarists in the region by the time he turned 13 years old. Wow! Quinn moved to California and began playing the Los Angeles clubs along in the infamous Sunset Strip to rave reviews in the local music scene media. You know, I really want to go to Sunset Strip. I haven't been there yet. Quinn landed a record deal with Polygram and appeared in the movie Dutch Street. Quinn is performing with his band in L.A., The Weasels, a hard, raw house rock and power trio. And with that being said, welcome, Terry, to Indie Music Corner.
Hi, Terry.
Thank you so much, Sherri. Hi, Sheldon. How are you today?
We're doing great. How are you?
Oh, I'm super. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Oh, you're very welcome. And we want you here so we can learn all about you, even though I
Whoa.
pretty much spilled most of it.
Okay. Well, ask me anything. I'll tell you anything.
Well, I'm going to let Sheldon go first since I just said a mouthful.
All right, Sheldon. Glad to meet you today, Sheldon.
Hey, it's nice to meet you, too. You're originally from Mississippi. How did you get into this whole thing to begin with?
Well, I think about that, and I think I was maybe born to do it because as a young child, I always wanted to play guitar, and I don't know if that's because I had a very musical family. You know, my uncle played, and they would, from that age, I would see them playing, and then when I, was 10, I just had done it so long, I was ready to go. But I've always kind of known it and thought that was kind of strange. But yeah.
So when did you first know that you were going to be a musician? I mean, like going to be not when you were born, but
Right.
Like,
well,
yeah. Who inspired you to become besides the Jimi Hendrix and all the other people?
to play.
Yes,
my
sir.
cousin.
Your
my
cousin. Okay.
And my cousin, who also was the bass player in my band, and he had a group, and they made money, and that was the kind of the crowd I fell into at a very early age, which is we play in a band and we make money. Now, we didn't make a lot of money. It was mostly about just, having fun, being kids, that kind of a thing. But I started doing it, like I said, at 10 to 13
Right.
is when I was, doing the little small things. And but when I was, when it was time to go to college, my parents said, Terry, you better decide what you're going to do because you have to do it for a long time. And I thought, well, okay, guitar player. That sounds like a fun thing. Now, I didn't really consider, that it's hard to give a degree at a Mississippi college in guitar player, but it was when they asked me to make a decision. It's when I decided, yeah, sure. Up until then, I thought, well, I got to grow up one day, but I never actually did, sadly.
Well, you know what? We have your cousin to thank for that then, right?
We certainly do.
That's
we certainly
right.
do
Well,
for a lot
thank
of things. But my cousin, my uncle, my dad, everyone contributed.
That's wonderful to have such great support. Now, what is the greatest obstacle you ever had to overcome, in the music business?
Well, let me think. Obstacle. There was always. I always tell myself, everyone, I always thought about it. It was like, this is a hard business, I think there's a lot of obstacles. In fact, I'm sure there is. Everyone's trying to rip you off. You're trying to promote yourself. There's a lot of work. You have to become good at your instrument. You have to love what you're doing, that kind of thing. But I always kind of looked at it like, and it was also, being young could help you look at it like this, which is, I just want to do this, and I'm not worried about the details. I'm gonna go for it full force.
Your band was originally called Rebel Faction, and then you signed with Polygram Records. Why the change in the name?
That was a band of my friends, all my buddies that had came from Mississippi with me, and we had that band. We had a lot of success. We had those. We had a lot of movie soundtracks. We were in some movies. That band was a great benefit to me. But then, like with all bands, they kind of start, peak, and end. And when that band ended, everyone went their separate ways musically. We're still great friends. We still play with each other, that kind of thing. But musically, everyone went in different directions, and that's fine. Otherwise, as a matter of fact, I might do a summer tour with those guys because, like I said, I love them. They're my friends, and it's really cool if you can play in a band with your friends.
So, who are your band members now?
We don't have anyone right now. We just got rid of the whole band. But we're looking for fellows, and I think we're probably going to go back to some of the older guys that used to play in the band, and because we have a lot of recording to come up with, and we also have some videos we have to start making really soon. But if you ask me right now, it would be no one.
So
you ask me in 2 weeks, we have a video shoot, so we're going to have a few. A lot of possibilities. Yes.
So with your music, what genre? What can you tell everybody? What's your genre? The kind of music that you produce. Well,
the deal is, when we started the group, our genre was gonna, it's hard, man. Guitar player and rock and roll, and our first album is very. You have to be 18 to listen to it, And it was kind of during a kind of a strange period for us, but we were coming out really hard because we did that, and also I'm a guitar player too, And but since that has happened, we've made I think two more albums, and it kind of comes down to this. We've done so many tunes. We do what we want now. In other words, we're not trying to shoot for anything. We're open for everything, which means we're doing I hate to say pop, which we're really not, but we kind of lean that way sometimes. It's all very blues based. Whatever it is, it's the blues, but not the slow blues, the fast blues, but not blues, but blues based.
Okay.
So we do everything from country to hard rock. Yes, ma'am.
I'm kind of curious. As Sherri mentioned at the top of the show, you're originally from Natchez, Mississippi. I want to hear what kind of conversation you guys had with folks back in Mississippi when you told everybody you were heading to L.A.
Well,
Got to go be a rock star.
Well, at that age, you're a teenager, and no, everybody's like, sure, okay. Now, and us being that young, we had no money hardly when we got here, and then quickly within 6 months, we had pretty much lost everything and hitchhiked back, which is quite an experience in itself, guitars, the whole thing. But so it wasn't so much when I left there. Everybody was like, that's a good idea. Yeah, you should do that, And me, not having a clue what that meant, which was probably good for me. Because I had never been past Oklahoma at that point. And I remember me and my buddy, we're driving out and I'm thinking, I'm going to get a job playing in a band like I do, in Mississippi. That's what I'm shooting for. And we got here and that wasn't like it was in Mississippi. And
you found out there were a million other people doing the same thing, right?
Pardon me?
You found out a million other people were doing the same thing.
Well, what I found out was that I don't really want to play the contemporary pop tunes that you get paid big money to play then and now. Back then, yeah, sure, I was playing those cover tunes and happy to do it. But I get out here and I go to Hollywood and they're not really into that there. It's a super culture shock. The answer to your question is that no one really said anything when I left, but once I got out here, my parents and of course me realized quickly this is a tough place. It will eat you up, And
yes.
Oh, it is. It's crazy. Everyone is truly trying to rip you off, and I have been personally almost ripped off a few times, to my credit. Only a few, but that's price of doing business out here. But no, I quickly understood that it's just a very big culture shock coming from a town of 20,000 to
millions. Millions.
I literally wanted to leave breadcrumbs from my apartment that I first got to the grocery store because I was scared I couldn't make it. I wouldn't know how to get back. It's so good, But yeah, it's quite a shock. I've had quite a few friends come out and they just can't accept it or deal with it or whatever. But a lot of people don't make it. They want to go back to the comfortable wherever they came from.
Well, you got to have a heart in it, that's for sure. So,
God, sure do.
And speaking of that, we do have some songs we want to play tonight. We only have, an hour. So You sent me, I have quite a few songs because I've been playing a couple of your songs on a couple of the other shows. I have.
Thank you so much,
oh, you're very welcome. I've been thinking about you. Must Have Been Dreamin', Mississippi, Rock and Roll Guitar, Shake It Down Cold, and Smokin' and Drinkin'. Now, which one would you like us to play first, and tell us a little bit about that song?
Okay. If you don't mind, why don't you start with slower? And let's do Mississippi.
Okay.
And then let's do a fast one so people won't think we just do ballads.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay, so tell us a little bit about Mississippi then.
Pardon me?
Tell us a little bit about Mississippi.
Well, of course, I'm from Mississippi,
Right.
and this is a song which, like a lot of songs and songwriters, it just forced me to kind of write it. I didn't have much choice, and I just hung in there, and next thing I know, it really did force me into writing it, you know, and I'm glad. So
Okay,
I
here
hope
we
everyone enjoys it.
Okay, Mississippi by Terry Quinn.
Sweet magnolia blossom, honeysuckle vine, and just like the Mississippi River runs down the Mississippi River. We go to church every Sunday morning. Shine
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank
I
you so
love-
much.
I love that voice. Sorry.
Thank you.
You
ma'am.
first
Thank
went to
you so much.
California age of 17, and but you started writing songs at the age of 10. I'm kind of curious. Do any of those songs still live?
Well, actually, I sort of, I didn't start writing tunes till about 13, but
Okay.
do they? They don't. No, they pretty much don't.
I
and
had to
thank
ask.
God.
I mean, I knew that would probably be the case, so I had to ask anyway.
That was a good question, Sheldon.
Yeah, that's a good question, and the answer would be yeah. I was learning how to play mostly at that point, but not really. But I'll tell you what, if you play an instrument, you only have like 6 chords. So
That's
yes,
true.
there's a little bit maybe, and there's also this my influences, and by influences, what I really mean, it has all that guitar player stuff in my bio, but mainly I just listen to the radio, and whatever was on the radio influences me to this day. I certainly can tell that, whether it's blues, rock, R&B. I love that old Motown stuff. But yeah, but other than that, no, they really didn't.
So, what kind of lessons do you think that you could share with other musicians that are out there?
Well, let's see. I mean, if you mean career-wise, I would say go for it. Everyone's going to tell you not to do it, and they're right. I would actually advise a smart person not to do it. But if you're like
I've
me,
been told that many times.
Oh God, I'm sure you have. Do you play guitar, Sheldon?
No, but I do interviews with artists, and I
I
ask
bet-
that
I
question
bet-
to
I
them,
bet
and they
they
say,
do.
"Yeah, don't do it."
and there's a good reason, because nobody makes it. I mean, what? Radio's dead. Actually, if you regular FM stuff, it's everything's going. The internet makes everything go to a la carte, right? Very independent,
That's
and
right.
and I like it that way. But
I agree with you on that, because now more independent artists
Yeah.
are getting actually more recognized.
right, as
being-
opposed to some
you know.
people pick the people on high picking 20, 30, 50 people to do those gigs. Hey, everyone gets a shot based on how good you are,
That's right.
and how much you can promote.
Well,
I
I've been
would
told
tell-
by artists that when I ask that question, and some of the artists that have told me that, I advise them not to do it. But they say that with a caveat. They say that if you love something equally that you can make money at, do that instead, and use music as a hobby. But if this is your true passion, if this is what
Yeah, don't you
need
hate
to
that
do,
when they
then
say that?
then there is
I hate it
no
when they
choice.
say that to me. But I'm sorry, go ahead. But when they
Well,
tell me
but
that hobby
if it's-
stuff, that bugs me to get rid of that. I'm sorry, go ahead. Sheldon.
if it's your true passion, and if it's what you have to do, it's what you need to do, then absolutely by all means, do what you have to do.
That's right.
Well, I would hate to be that guy who on Saturday night, when his friends are over and he's having a little bit of wine, that he goes under his bed and shows them that really nice Les Paul he has. I don't want to be that guy,
Right. Right.
And I got it, and I've always felt that way. But I only learned pretty recently that, it's because I left Mississippi. Terry left. Whatever happened to Terry? I don't know. All of a sudden, we found out about Terry, and my friends tell me this, which is surprising to me. I never thought of it, but it was like, hey, man, you did what you wanted to do. God, I wish I had. Instead, I got a job doing this or doing that, which, I wish I'd have played bass for you, and we'd all went over there. And I go, that's a good point. Now, I don't think I could ever have stayed in Laurel, Mississippi, and worked at the McDonald's there, which is there's probably a lot of job opportunities.
Hey, believe it or
although,
not, those McDonald people are making some pretty decent money nowadays.
That's true. That's a good point.
I'm serious. I mean, hey, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. Not that I would ever
Absolutely.
work there, but I never would. I don't think my mom ever would want me to work there, really, when I was younger. But some people do. But nowadays, they're making 10, 12, 13, $14 an hour.
Absolutely.
They're making some.
Maybe I should reconsider that if you
Really?
mention it.
Really? So let me ask you, what would you do differently if you were just entering the industry today?
I would dye my hair jet black at 13, quit school, and move to L.A. Absolutely. That's an easy one, man.
Sheldon?
In other words, nothing different.
Yeah, there's people out there, and you don't want to be one of them, which goes, I wish I had I wish I had a. Well, I don't wish I had a nothing, and I think that's good for me,
That's good.
And what would I tell musicians? I would say practice,
That's
So what's the
good.
process that you go through when writing a song?
I used to try, I used to try, and then there came a time where I guess I became real good on my instrument or whatever, and I didn't have to use it, so I could write them in my head, and then it became a little easier, hear the parts kind of thing, and now it's kind of like, oh man, if I could just get this out of my head. Seriously, I'm working on a couple of tunes right now, and it becomes an obsession. I really need to get medication for that or something, because it's like you're trying to sleep and your brain's going, want you put this word in here. No, let's switch this. So it was a fun thing, thing you were trying, then it was a fun thing, and now it's more of a, God, just give me one night's sleep without thinking of this darn song. Now, once I finish them, I move on. I move on.
The man
to whatever.
creates his own ear.